Hi guys. This is Philip Martin, and I'm here with Paris, who's not going to be here long, I don't think. Having technical difficulties. If the sound quality sounds different, and I'm not saying it could sound better, it's because my interface crapped out apparently. So I'm using just this USB microphone, and so we don't have the you can hear what you can hear, so you can hear it fine. If it's poor quality, then I apologize. We'll have it back up to spec next week, I assume. Bye, Paris. Paris is leaving. Watch her walk. There she goes. Look back, Paris. Yeah, there she. Anyway, wow, it's a full swing movie week, and it's a typical mid-September movie week, in that none of these films are exactly highly anticipated. We are going to be guessing when we put the section together this week, because I don't know what the different theaters are going to open. There's a slate of films. It's pretty. There are, 8 possibles, and I think that we're going to have 4 of those definitely open. A couple more could sneak in. I don't know. And it's sort of like there are all these small independent companies, production companies. We're chasing them to try to find out who they are. I've had... I guess I'm not telling anything out of school if I talk about Chasing Down Infidel, which I really hope I get. It's a James Caviezel movie the director has an interesting pedigree, and he's worked with Caviezel before on some things, but it's a small movie, and it's I don't know anything about the production company. I don't know anything. I do know that I had a guy from a PR firm send me a query about whether we wanted to cover it, and I said yes, we sure do. Please, send us the link, send us the press kit and all that. And he sent me back a note a couple of days later saying, "Hey, did you get it yet?" And I go, "No, I didn't get it." He says, "Okay, we'll try to get it again." And a couple more days go by, and he sent me another note saying, "Did you get it?" And I go, "I didn't get it." He says, "All right, give me back into this and try to get the guy to send it to you." And he names the guy that's supposed to send it to me. And then he sends me another, 2 days later, after that, he sends me another thing. "Did you get it?" "No, I haven't got it." Okay, so now it's this week. And so I'm looking at the list of movies that may not open. We've got, 3 of them are assigned. And Infidel's still up in the air. So I sent him a note back, and I go, "Look, I still haven't got the press kit or the screener. Can you help me?" And he sent me the most exasperated note. I feel so bad for this man. He goes, and you could just tell this to the email. He just went, "Sigh." "Philip, it is out of my hands." And he gives me the email address of the guy that I can contact directly, who maybe can send me a link and maybe won't send me a link. And I'm thinking that maybe I'll send him I would really like to see this movie. I'd really like to feature it in our section, just because I have this kind of weird thing about James Caviezel, who started, I guess he's a TV star now on Person of Interest or something. I guess he's been doing that for a long time. But, I remember him when he was a young, up-and-coming actor, and he was like this strident kind of guy, and sort of intimidating to talk to him, but he's quite religious, quite convicted, and I'm surprised he hasn't made any more dogmatic films than he has, but he's made some pretty interesting films that come from a particular point of view. I mean, he is a Hollywood conservative, and I like to represent that part of the industry when I get a chance. We do write about every movie we can get our hands on, basically. I certainly don't want to slight that side of the political spectrum, but they always seem to make it so hard. I mean, it's like all these faith-based films, they don't want you to see them. They want, someone else to see them, someone who's perceived as friendly to them to see them. but they don't want the critic to see them. They don't want the guy who, writes about them. And part of that I understand, because no, I don't, but part of it I can rationalize by saying that they probably believe that most people who do film criticism don't share their political, cultural, ethical, viewpoint. Which I think is silly, but that's what they think. So, and not that matters. It's sort of like I haven't watched Cuties, the French film yet. In fact, I won't watch it because I don't really have a pressing need to watch it. I'm not that interested in it. But I do think that it's a possibility that it's being misread, that this is a film that's got the same viewpoint as the people who are, ragging on it now. And that I think it's probably a film about the exploitation of children and the over-sexualization of children, the sort of John Benet Ramsey sort of syndrome. But, yeah, the young beauty pageant syndrome, that sort of thing. But the people who... The literal mind is a vulgar thing. Let me just say that. So I'm probably not going to watch Cuties. But I think there's a possibility that it's being misapprehended by people who are really looking for a reason to shout and to, give the certain message. See, Paris hasn't left us entirely because we can see her tail back here. Paris's tail. All right. But she's listening. Anyway, so I'm not going to, probably weigh in on the Cuties thing, but, it's sort of like we've really lost a lot of things. And people on the right often say this, and people on the left are sometimes guilty of this, but it goes both ways, too, in that we've kind of lost our sense of humor about things. There's some things that aren't appropriate to joke about, and I've, been horrified that some of the things I've seen in social media, people using, corpses as beams and stuff like that. Yeah, I haven't forgotten that. If the one person who I have actually blocked on social media, used to do that all the time. He used to, he thought it was funny to show pictures of dead people who had families and were alive in the world and put a political meme on there, and I just don't abide that. But anyway, but there are, a lot of us could stand to lighten up and loosen up a little bit, and there is a tendency among some people to, take things to assign the worst possible connotation and the worst possible motives to people. I'm sure that the makers of Cuties are horrified by the phenomenon that they portray in that film. Now, is there also an aspect of them maybe exploiting that? And, it's like it's sort of like, oh, we want to show you all these pictures of naked women so you'll know how bad pictures of naked women are, or something, kind of dynamic going on there. This sort of carny exploitative mode. I don't know. Like I said, the problem is now that if I think that it's a political statement just to watch the movie, and I'm not interested in making that sort of statement. So, absent any, reason to watch it, I've not heard that it's all that edifying. I'm probably not going to watch it, but I'm not going to not watch it because I want to cancel it. Okay? And there's a real difference there. Sometimes it's like when I wrote about United 93 years ago, and I said before I saw it that, wow, I don't know if I want to see this, because that September 11th moment was very raw to me and very hard for me, to kind of circle back on so quickly, because United 93 came out just a couple of years after the events of September 11th. And I remember there's a local guy, I'll mention him, Bob McCord, wrote that I said that I would not see the movie that I was going to boycott the movie or something. It's like, no. As a matter of fact, I saw the movie and I reviewed it. I just said it would be hard for me to see that. And sometimes you don't have to jump in on everything that you feel like you have to jump. I mean, it's just because it's out there, it doesn't mean I have to have an opinion on it. Like if you look at these movies that are opening this week, and it's really I gotta have a aid because I can't really remember them. Because 10 Minutes to Midnight, that's a horror film. Is it opening here? I don't think so. That's my best guess. It could, but I think it's probably going to be more likely we'll catch that on VOD or something like that. The Secrets We Keep, which I know a little bit about, Rumi Rapace and Joel Kinnaman, and that's probably the most interesting movie, second most interesting movie that's opening this week. And we've got a review of that coming, so I'll be interested in seeing that. There's another movie called Alone, which has a really good rating, but I don't know anything about it. The way I see it is a documentary, but it's gotten really good reviews too, and it's opening here, so that's going to be great. The Infidel, yeah, I'd really like to see that, so... Just to let you know, if there is no review of Infidel in the day's paper, it's not our fault. It's not because we didn't want to review the Christian Jim Caviezel movie. We wanted to really badly, and we made a lot of efforts to do that. And for whatever reason, and they don't have to. I mean, it's not like they are obligated to show us their movies. They don't have to do that. You know, that's fine. That's part of, however you want to get by in life. If you don't want, a certain critic to read your book, well, don't sell it. Don't send him a review copy. You can go buy a ticket. That's the way I look at it, So, and I'm not that interested in Infidel that I'll probably go back and write about it after it's open, but, usually they would be looking for publicity, but in this case, I don't know what they're doing. But the best movie maybe this week is, and I don't know much about it, but it's just, I got a screener for it, and I haven't watched it just because it's a factor of time, and I promised it to someone else. Dan Liebarger is reviewing it. So it's The Nest. It's Jude Law and Carrie Coon, who are two actors who I think are very interesting, who've done some really good work on HBO these last few years at least. And that's going to be our lead movie today. That's going to be the one that kicks off the section, which is a really kind of middleweight movie. But for this time of year, even if we weren't in a pandemic, that would be what we're getting, because we're getting ready to have these sort of floodgates open after Toronto. And even though the pandemic seems to be still here with us, and maybe it will be here with us always, though some people think we'll have a vaccine sooner rather than later. I'm a little bit dubious about that. I did just get my flu shot this morning, though, so do that. If you're on the borderline about get it for everybody else. Flu shots are nothing. So we're about to get into a real kind of awards sort of season, and there's a lot of good movies that appear to be coming out of Toronto. And I told you the Toronto story last week. Piers has been monitoring that for us, and he's probably going to see more movies than he would otherwise, since we're doing it virtually. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I think he's going to have a report from Toronto for us this week. It would be a lot easier if I wasn't doing this quite so early. I'm doing it a little early for reasons you don't need to really know, except that it's technical stuff and the way my schedule's arranged. Yeah, and Paris has left. We have totally bored her. But, okay, so we have a whole bunch of movies opening. Not anything like Tenet, not anything like the James Bond movie. I'm wearing my James Bond watch. If you can see this is the Omega that he wore, or Omega. Omega is the way they pronounce it in Britain, and it sounds sort of affected to me. though I just did it. But this is from Spectre. This is a 2015 movie watch. It doesn't blow up or anything, but it's cool looking. But we don't have a James Bond, we don't have a Tenet opening this week, but we do have like some good, the kind of movie that would normally open around September 18th is opening this week. So if you've gone back to the movies, and if you're going back to the movies, you have these options. If you're not ready to do that yet, well, there'll be more stuff. These things will be on VOD quicker. They'll cycle out quicker now than they did before. I think some of them are probably going to open, and you can read this in the paper. I don't need to remember it. You can read it in our little box. We'll tell you if it's going to open theatrically, if it's going to open theatrically, and on, streaming services or whatever like that. So, you don't have to have me remember stuff because I'm not good at that. Anyway, what else have we got? Well, I was talking about going back to the theaters, where Courtney Lanning went back to the theater, and she talks about that experience in her platform diving column, which is supposed to be about, different platforms. So I guess theatrical is actually a platform too. So, okay, we can really, you come up with a rubric and then you give it to a writer you like, and you let the writer run with it. Okay. And so that's what she's doing. And I think Dan's got a couple reviews for us. He's got the Kevin Wilmot interview for his movie The 24th, which is available to stream now. I was hoping that would come out theatrically here, but apparently it's not. So, go find it on wherever you can find it. Not that hard, just Google it. And then it'll tell you where you can see it. And which is interesting. It's like everybody's talking about Yellowstone, the Kevin Costner thing, and I went looking for that, and I have a full array of stuff. I mean, it's professional, so it's not it's not like I'm just the average guy. I don't pay for a lot of this stuff, is what I'm saying. But I've got like Netflix, I've got Hulu, I got HBO, I got Showtime, I've got Sundance Now, which I don't think I need because I think Sundance Now is actually on Hulu. I've got Acorn. And I've got Disney Plus, and I got everything. Apple TV too. Not which I used to be my main thing. I don't, but so got all these things, and I can't find Yellowstone on any of them. And I read that it's on this Paramount network, and all these people have Paramount network. Really? I think what they do is they buy it. I think you can buy it through. Amazon Prime, which I also have, or Apple TV, and you can watch it that way. So maybe that's the way everybody's watching Yellowstone. But anyway, if there's another way to watch Yellowstone, if there's some service that I have and I'm just not finding it on there, let me know. But I don't have any opinion about Yellowstone, though. Here it's good. That's all. I'm also looking for stuff to watch on TV now. It's sort of like we've run through so much good stuff, and then there's stuff I don't really care for. I don't really care for Lovecraft County, which is really well done, but it's just not my sort of aesthetic, I guess. That's the HBO show Jordan Peele is doing, and nothing right now on Netflix that's really grabbed me either. I'm watching this show Riviera, which is really trashy on Sundance Now. And I'm still watching those Swedish and Danish shows when they pop up. I'm getting really kind of into this sort of Scandi, drama, Scandi noir sort of thing. And someday I'm going to write about that. So anyway. Other news, my class kicks off on Friday, so if you are a mind to, I think you can still sign up at LifeQuest of Arkansas. I still don't know the first movie I'm showing. I still don't know exactly how I'm going to work this Zoom stuff, but we are going to have a class, and I am going to share my screen, show movies, and then we'll talk about it. So if you'd like to join me for that, it's going to be Fridays at 9 a.m. That's when the movie starts, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Then I'll go on the radio, and then I'll have Friday afternoon, basically, to do other stuff. So, okay, that's the where we are, and that's about 20 minutes. So that's good enough for this. We will see you in the newspaper. And take care. Be safe. Courage.